everyone, what's going on? Mark here again, happy to be presenting another week of the Jrock News Weekly Roundup. Per usual, there's a lot of interesting things to cover, so let's get right to it. First up, the song Free the Monster, a collaboration of AA equals, Koie of Crossfaith and Masato of Coldrain, now has a music video that's been put up. The song Free the Monster came out on March 18th and is one of AA equals' many collaborations with different artists. The song will be included as part of AA equals' album coming out on May 18th. Which will also include the singles from other collaborations he did last year. Moving forward, PSC band Rave will be putting out a new single, Jinsei Tsuramichan. It'll be coming out on April 13th, and a spot preview is up now. Moving on, Arlequin have announced their second album, Utopia, which will be set to release on June 8th, and will contain 12 to 13 tracks depending on the edition you get. In addition to this, on June 8th, they'll be embarking on a 47 prefecture one-man tour, which means they'll be covering every prefecture of Japan. And moving on, although it is composed primarily of pre-existing songs, Neverland have released their first full album, Grim. It was released on April 7th, and a preview for the tracks as well as a spot for the music video Daydream are up now. Moving forward, Sylphamu have just released a new 5-track EP, Uncontrollable, on April 6th. The music video for Menhera Circus is out now. In other news, Sever Black Paranoia have returned from a bit of a bout of inactivity with a new music video for their song Insanity. This metalcore electronic fusion act have taken this music video from their new album Elisa. The album was released on April 6th in Japan, but will have an EU/US release on May 20th. After keeping quiet at the beginning of this year, Morrigan have announced 3 months of consecutive releases. They'll be releasing a live distribution single on April 7th, a mini-album on May 4th, and a standard release single on June 15th. Next up, Smileberry are set to release a new single, Koakuma Kiss Me, on July 27th. While tracklist and other information is yet to be revealed, you can see a preview for the music video now on their YouTube channel. Next up, the high-energy instrumental band ZeTeS have released their first mini-album on April 6th. The mini-album is titled Shikimi, which is ironic to most followers of the band, as since 2004 most of their titles have been extremely long. I was thinking about prepping a few here so that I could give you some examples, but it's literally just so long I couldn't bear to butcher it. Glutamine, who has just signed to Universal Music Japan, will be releasing his first major single, Giant Killing, on April 20th. And again, a bit of unfortunate news, Ganglion have announced that they'll be going on an indefinite hiatus starting on June 18th. The all-female Visual-kei band have mentioned that at some point after their European tour, they decided that they were all mutually concerned for the future of the band and themselves as musicians, so they feel it's in their best interest to take this time off. And after putting out an album earlier this year in March, Nico Touches the Wall have announced a new single, Suturato, set to come out on May 3rd. Notably, the limited edition will contain a DVD including 12 of their most recent music videos. However, this will also be available as a solo DVD release titled Library Volume 3. And moving forward, Griva have announced they'll be putting out a new album on May 11th titled Konto no Hako. It is set to have 16 tracks. They've put a sort of VHS retro-styled spot up for the album, which I think is quite interesting because a lot of people I've talked to, myself included, think that Griva are sort of one of these newer bands that are a kind of clear influence from 90s millennium era Visual-kei. And finally, of our standard stories, last week we covered Sim's music video for Make Me Dead from their album The Beautiful People that just came out in March. And now they've put out another music video for a different song on the album titled Life is Beautiful, and you can check that out on their YouTube now. Our first main story is regarding A9, who've just put out the music video for Prismatic, which is one of the 7 tracks on a mini-album titled Light and Darkness that will be coming out on April 13th. I was certainly a follower of Alice 9 at some point, still a big fan of a lot of their earlier work, and it's definitely been interesting to see the direction that this reincarnation of the group A9 has gone in. This new video especially, I think, has a very sort of not necessarily poppy or mellow, but a sort of clean, soft rock sound to it that I guess kind of exudes some maturity. So whether you were a new or old follower of Alice 9, or maybe just getting into A9, I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say in the comments about this new song. Our next story is regarding Nocturnal Bloodlust, who have put out a big preview video for their new mini-album ZeTeS, which will be coming out on April 20th. The release will contain 2 CDs, the first having the mini-album, while the second will have 1 instrumental song from the mini-album, as well as 2 re-recorded versions of old songs, which are Rebellion and A Bullet of Skyline. In other news, the band will be having an international show, One Man Live in Shanghai on May 5th. Our final story is regarding Babymetal, who've made a US television debut on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on April 5th. They played the song Gimme Chocolate on the show, and while there have been a handful of performances in the US from Japanese artists, this is certainly the biggest display to a wider US audience of Japanese music. You can watch the performance now on The Late Show's YouTube channel, which has already accumulated over 2 million views. And related, if you're a fan of the band, one of our staff did a write-up on their concert at the Wembley Arena in London, which they were also the first Japanese band to perform there. And that will be wrapping it up for this week's episode of the J-Rock News Weekly Roundup. Per usual, you can find all of the stories we talked about in the description, and I encourage you all to head over to jrocknews.com to get the news as it comes. Thank you, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.